Welcome to Bills. I'm your host, Laura Haywood. Today I'm joined by two brilliant actors, Katie Lowe's and Adam Shapiro, who are both making their Broadway debuts in Waitress the Musical. They play quirky loves Dawn and Ogie, whose unforgettable scenes have audiences roaring with laughter. I'm sure you recognize Katie as Quinn Perkins on the long-running hit show Scandal. And Adam works constantly. His IMDb page lists over 70 credits. Together, they're the founders of the IAMA Theater Company in Los Angeles. They also happen to be real-life married couple and parents to a 10-month-old baby boy. Welcome to Bills, Katie and Adam.
Yeah. That was a nice intro.
I'm glad you like it.
It's fun to be here. I've watched you on this a few times, Katie.
Welcome to the
usually
stage.
watch at home because you're like in New York for press.
Right.
I haven't seen you in a while. I'm in LA.
Right.
I watch you on this.
Well, look, now we're here together.
Here we are. This is great.
Welcome to Broadway, too.
Yeah, we're in New York. We're here. We're on the Broadway stage.
Talking to you means we've made it to Broadway. To the Broadway.
It's true.
Oh, well, you're fitting in to the Broadway community like you've been here forever. But what has it been, like a month?
We're like, it's been 2 months, I think. 2 months? I think we've done like 100 performances. I have no idea. You stop losing count.
But we're obsessed with it.
Yeah, we've been Broadway nerds our whole life, and so
I love going to like bars after the show with the cast, and then they're like, "Oh, this is my friend. She's Elsa in Frozen," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And this is my buddy. He's Phantom, and you're like, "Phantom."
yeah.
Like, it's
a lot
so
of that.
cool for people like us that are just big Broadway fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes three of
In
us.
LA, you never meet people on Broadway. It's
right.
awesome.
Right.
Well, I know
Also terrifying.
you came out of the womb performing, from
I did.
what I understand.
I did. Yes.
Was Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz your first leading role?
That was my first leading lady in the 4th grade. I played, why is Dorothy British? I don't know. But 4th grade, I got cast as
You're
Dorothy
Dame
and the Wizard
Katie.
of Oz. But before that, I was always dancing, singing, acting, performing, doing whatever I could to get some applause. From the time I was like 2, 3, and I remember trying to get an agent when I was 12 and begging my dad to have one. And my dad was like, absolutely not. Like, if you want to do the community theater, like here in Long Island, you can, you can do the high school plays. And then I ended up majoring in drama in college and waitressing.
Like right down the street.
Yeah, I went right down the street to school. And then
right at Tisch.
Yeah!
Yeah, we got some Tisch kids.
I went
in
to
the
Tisch
house.
School of the Arts, and then I waitressed for a long time. And
Who
then I
knew
thought
that was
maybe
gonna-
I should. My dad said the minute I got Waitress on Broadway, my dad was like, "Isn't this funny? You left New York a waitress, and now you're coming back to do it again."
You want to
I
know
was like,
something?
"Great one, Dad."
When Kimiko Glenn was here, who originated the role of Dawn, she said that when she was on Broadway, she was applying for a new apartment, and she had to put down her employer, and she wrote down Waitress, and the person
They
almost
were like, "You're not getting the apartment."
yeah, they almost rejected the apartment because
Oh,
there's like,
that's
and she was like,
so
no,
funny.
my job title isn't Waitress,
Yeah.
my employer
Is
is Waitress.
Oh, that's
But
so
they were like, yeah,
funny.
you're not going to make enough money
That's
as a waitress.
really funny. Yeah, and you know what's so crazy about this musical and the part I play Dawn is that I'm literally waitressing like a lot of the show.
Yeah.
It's so hard, you guys.
Imagine
I
if you
cannot
had to
even-
write down Harry Potter on that application.
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
Then they'd be
my
like, you're
employer's
definitely
Harry
getting
Potter.
the-
You're like, you're a
Thanks.
psychopath.
Yeah, you're
not
crazy.
getting this part.
Or they'd be like, you're definitely getting this.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about this element of waitressing, because part of Dawn's character is that she's very precise. She likes everything to be in
OCD,
order.
She likes control.
She
control.
freaks out if the ketchups aren't
In the
totally
right
full.
place. The
Although
sugars aren't full.
at one point she accidentally puts mustard into the ketchup
Well, because she's losing. Yes. Yeah.
because we'll get to Ogie, but.
Starting to fall in love.
But
Yes.
that never gets corrected, and I really worry about it.
I
That
know.
means there are tables that are getting half mustard,
Yeah,
half
I think
ketchup.
the diner though doesn't have maybe the clientele with like the greatest knowledge of like
Condiments.
yeah, and like they're not coming in for like a per person chef's tasting menu.
Yes,
if you know
that's
what I mean. But yes, I play a character she's loves to control everything, and so when I showed up to the first day of rehearsal, it was just like, okay, so on this word, you pick up the coffee cup, you fill the coffee cup, then you drop it off, then you take the pie cart, and then you take the ketchups, and you pump the ketchups, and you put your ketchups away, then you fill the coffee mugs, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. Like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Literally, I can, Broadway, for me, is the hardest thing I've
She
ever
wasn't
done in my
stressed at
professional
all
life.
about her song or the acting. It was like where to put the pie plate when the person gets done with it that she was freaking out
Well,
about.
because it's the thing that affects all the other characters. Like, if you don't put like everything, the ketchup is here because then that actor is going to pick it up in 2 minutes and they use it in their song. Like, it's a whole domino effect. And I was coming into a musical that's kind of a well-oiled machine at this point. It's been running for like 2.5 years, and I didn't want to be like, oh, nice. This LA actor comes in and just messes it up for everybody.
Isn't it true you got your offer 10 days before you started?
Yes.
How did you train? How did you learn the show?
We didn't.
Yes,
we
you did.
No, we
It
went
was
up
other level.
totally freaking out.
Yeah.
And
and a
we
little
kind
bit.
of have learned it on stage.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, we
believe
learned
that.
it enough to
So that people wouldn't
open.
know, really, hopefully.
But
But
we
it
were
wasn't
like-
my best performance? No.
But we were kind of doing like the performances of the people that we were following. And then,
Sure.
and then over the past couple months, we've been able to kind of craft our own performances. But all of that has happened on stage in front of an audience, which is insane.
Yeah,
It was a fast
we've
rehearsal.
known Sarah Bareilles for 15 years. I don't know, a long time.
How did that happen?
We met in L.A.
Yeah, and Adam's
I saw her
been
perform in a little
You were
bar
friends
with
with
my
Sarah before
friend
you and I were together, I think.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, and we've been together 12 years forever.
Yeah.
It's like a million years in Hollywood.
It's a lot of Hollywood
million
years.
years.
We're the oldest couple in Hollywood.
And then Sarah is one of the great friends I got because I'm with Adam Shapiro, which is so great.
Yeah, you get some good friends
I do.
when you marry me.
And
you get
then
a lot of good friends.
Sarah
And
was
fam.
like, I'm writing a musical. So we would come and support our friend when she wrote a musical. And then she was like, I'm going to star in the musical. So we went
So
to
we had
see her.
seen Waitress like 3 or 4 times, and then there's another producer named Michael Royf on
Yes.
Waitress that I've done a few movies with, and
He produced the film,
Oh,
Waitress.
wow.
And he produces the musical also. So
yeah, and so we all of a sudden we got a text message from Sarah saying, "What if you guys came and did Waitress?" And we were like, "We're not worthy. No, we
we
can't
said
do
no.
that.
You did
We're
not.
fans."
swear to God.
Yeah, we said no.
I had casting. My whole team called casting and said she can't. She's being very honest with you. She doesn't want to waste your time.
But we're saying no because we don't feel like we're worthy. Not
Yeah.
that we don't want to be
Right.
there.
Oh my God!
Of
we wouldn't
course.
give anything. But I was like,
And then Sarah
gonna suck.
sent us another text, and she's like, "You have to do this." So then we
Well-
auditioned, and we got it, and then we came here, and 8 days later we were on stage.
We
It was
opened.
insane.
Did you talk about what would happen if during that audition process one of you got it and the
Yes.
other one didn't?
we talked about that
Yeah,
a lot.
we talked about it amongst each other. You said if you get it, and Katie said if I get it and she doesn't get it, we're going.
Okay.
But she said if she gets it and I don't get it, that she was like, I want to stay in LA.
Well,
You were going to pass up making your Broadway debut? I thought for you
Yeah.
it was like, I'm doing the show.
It was, but I honestly, like, I have to really, like, my heart, I was really nervous to play. That song is really out of my range. Like, honestly, like as an artist, like, I'm a low singer. I'm a huge fan of the show. So I know what Kimiko and Caitlin Houlahan do well. And, like, that's not really what I do. So I was, like, terrified, to be honest. Like, I'm all about making a Broadway debut, but I wanted to do one that was in my pocket, like one that was, like, in my wheelhouse, a part that I've could
So it
play
was
with
a
my
little
eyes
terrifying to
closed. So
take
I
on
was
something
more
she didn't
scared.
feel like she was.
But then once he got offered it and I got offered it, I was like,
We
well, now
gotta
we
do
gotta
it.
go.
We gotta go.
you know.
It's like our Broadway wedding.
And I've learned
It's 8 weddings a week. You actually have that wedding.
We,
Yeah,
we
we
get
have it
married
8 times a
week.
And now I'm so grateful that my fear and my nerves were tested and faced because I can do the part.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you're
And
so
I
good
can
at
sing
it.
it. You know, I also think it was a matter of like, you know, I hadn't been in a musical since high school. So I was also incredibly scared of like, I don't know if I can sing 8 times a week and like do it vocally. Like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to test it out.
And I wake up every morning
Yeah.
just going, please put me in a musical today.
Yeah. And he's always ready to go. He sings all day, all night. The guy doesn't
I was
stop.
not worried about being able to sing every day. That's for sure.
I would love to talk about your Ogie because I saw Chris Fitzgerald do the role like probably 5 or 6
genius
times.
Christopher
I was the
Genius.
Tony nominee for that role, and now I've seen you do it twice. And you're, well,
Twice?
yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah, she
didn't know
came
you've
twice.
gone twice.
Yeah, I
That's
came to-
amazing.
to-
Oh, yeah, back. Okay.
I came to see Eric Bergen for one of his last performances and Catherine McPhee,
Yeah.
and then I came to see Nicolette's
Nicolette.
first performance.
Wow.
She's now been in a week or so.
Yeah, a week.
I think I've seen every Jenna at least once. I am a
Wow.
huge fan of this show.
Wow.
You're like us. You're a frequent pyre.
So it is. You
Yeah.
should change your name to
Yeah, that's what
Adam
we call 'em,
Shapiro.
frequent pyres. Yeah. Adam Shapiro. That's good.
Hilarious.
I like it.
So, but you're playing Ogie a little bit differently.
Yeah, just
Talk to me
basically,
about
it's just a
that.
lot more Jewish. It's a lot of Judaism infused into Ogie.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. It's a lot of hand
He's basically
talking.
playing his father.
Yeah, I do.
Who's
I
the
sound a little
Southern
bit like my dad when I
Jew.
play Ogie, and then I also talk with my hands a lot more than Christopher did.
You stumble around a little bit more.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I think Christopher played Ogie and Ogie, the way he played Ogie was so perfect. Everything was so perfect, and I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going to be able to do that because Chris is like a clown. He's like a trained physical comedian, and I was like, I'm going to make Ogie like basically not be able to take 2 steps without tripping and falling, and so yeah, my Ogie's definitely a little bit clumsier and a little bit weirder, a little slower, but yeah, it's the thing for me was I was so excited about joining Waitress, but I just love Chris and his performance so much that, in fact, when Sarah first texted us that she wanted us to be in Waitress, my text back to her was like, honestly, I don't know if I could sing Palmer's songs, and I don't think Katie's going to be comfortable doing Jenna, and she texted me back, she goes, Dawn and Ogie.
We're not offering you the lead.
Dawn and Ogie. And I was like, oh.
Wait, so
Now that I've done it, there is no way
No
in
way.
hell.
I could actually see you as Jenna.
Okay.
No
Tonight.
And I
Let's
could
try
see
it tonight.
You as Palmer.
Let's try it tonight.
hell. No, like I've said, this is like the hardest.
Sing Bad Idea right now. Go.
Bad idea, me and you.
I know. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Totally agree.
I know.
I can't believe you actually did it.
Me and you.
Let's keep
Yeah, but now we gotta sing it while we're like changing each other's lab coats and like jumping on.
putting
it.
on
Oh,
jackets. No,
No.
we're not interested.
We're
No,
not
we're pretty
physically-
happy in our
We're happy in our
We're
roles.
happy. We're happy
Yeah.
right now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're great in those roles.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
And it's really fun to get to see you have these weddings and to fall in love and to know that you're really in love off stage.
Yeah, we get to slow dance. That's like my favorite part. There's a part in our wedding scene where we are slow dancing on the side, and we're not really the focal point of the scene. So I'm just like praying not that many people are looking at us, but we're over kind of in a non-lit area of the stage, and we get to like slow dance for like a good, 5 minutes every day. Which when you've been with someone for 12 years, we don't have the opportunity.
We don't
to
slow dance
all
as
the
much as
time.
we used to.
I
You know, when you
agree.
first start dating, you're slow dancing all the time in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There's lots of romance going on, but now it's
Yeah.
like lots of like buying humidifiers.
Yeah, and baby talk
and
and
changing
baby diapers and
so it's nice to have an excuse to kind of turn everything off and not have our phones on us for a second while we're on stage and we slow dance. It's really
of course,
nice.
I'm trying to like multitask, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm like running the to-do list through him. Like,
She
did you
talks
call
to me
him?
about
And he's
real
like,
life stuff on
Dawn,
stage.
what are you talking about? And I'm like, we're not in character right now.
And I never leave character.
Do you kiss differently on stage than you kiss off stage?
Yeah.
Well, we do.
Real tight
well,
mouth.
oh no,
real
it's funny.
tight
Yeah,
mouth.
so on stage we kiss like totally closed mouth because Dawn and Ogie, you would think they're very appropriate. But the other night remember when I
You were waiting for, but at home.
Well, I mean,
no, at home
Gross.
we're
There's a lot of information.
mouths are wide open.
There's a lot
no,
of information.
But you remember? Come here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not fair. They're
Oh,
whispering.
yeah. Yeah, there was one time where Katie,
One time just to be a
Katie
little
really,
bit risque.
She really kissed
See,
me.
this you could do with someone you're married to, and I don't know if it would be like super appropriate if you weren't, but like during this sex scene in the show when all the characters are having sex, it's kind of like a sex party. I slipped him like a quick Dawn tongue, like real like quick, and he was like completely shocked.
I was like, whoa.
But like, what's great is it's my husband, so who really?
Yeah,
cares?
yeah. You
It's not a
can't
big
you
freak
can't
deal.
pull that stuff with the
You know,
couldn't
there
pull that
a
stuff
lot
with
of
the understudy.
a lot of theater companies are using intimacy coaches now for when there's sort of like fight coaches to make sure that people stay appropriate even when there's sexual content on the stage.
Wowzers,
I
trousers.
And I
actually
do-
really think that's great.
Yeah,
I think so too, and I think that you're right that there are different boundaries when you're married to the person in real life.
Well, there's also rules. Like people are, there's this like, I don't know. I'd always heard like, no, you never like open mouth kiss in a TV show, but that's like not true because I watch TV shows and you see that that's not happening. So like some people might think that's the rule and some people might think that's not the rule. So then when those two get paired together, like it's just a mess.
So
So
it makes a lot of sense because normally it's just kind of up to the actors and it could get weird. I don't know. I usually play the best friend of the guy who's kissing somebody in a movie. So I
never have to worry about
I
it.
personally don't know how this works, but I'm always in the scene after he kisses the girl, and I'm like, "Yo, how was it last night?" So I
And
don't
he's
need
like,
an
it was
intimacy
closed
coach
mouth
for that.
because we were on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it's those things do pop into one's head.
I
as an
actually
audience
called
member.
out on I had a really after about 6 weeks of doing the musical we have an 11-month-old and I was breastfeeding and my whole freaking I just shut down and got sick and had to call out for a weekend, which is like when you miss shows and your understudy goes on, which is literally like you think it's hell on earth, but then you face it and it's fine. So basically, Broadway has just been an opportunity for me to face all my fears. One of them also being too sick to go on and you've lost your voice, which is like so scary. But Adam came home and was like, I never realized how many times we kiss in the show because I had to keep kissing
I've
the
never-
understudy.
well, I've never
Jessie
thought-
Hooker Bailey who went on for
No,
you?
but I love her.
I love
It
her
was
too.
Molly
She's
Jobe.
Oh, who's also a friend of mine.
Yeah, she's
It was
wonderful.
Molly Joe, but I never in this show clocked how many times Katie and I kissed because I don't even think about it. And then I was like, when I was kissing Molly Jobe that many times, I was like, wow, we kiss, and we add extra kisses in too, just
Well,
because.
we're like,
why
might
not?
as well.
Might
Like,
as
we're
well
not
just
uncomfortable at all.
Might
so.
as well kiss each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And Molly was like, oh, okay. Okay. Wow. And I'm like, sorry, I usually kiss Katie right on the eye in this scene, and I forgot that we added that to the script.
That's so funny.
Oh, man.
It was a good experience.
Okay, so I want to talk about Scandal just for a second.
Come on, let's do
Okay,
it.
not actually about the show or the plot of the show, but how you got the role. Because one of the things that I am really obsessed with is the idea that the biggest obstacles turn into the things that become the best thing that ever happened to you. And when I have heard you talk about your journey of how many times you auditioned for Shonda, how many times you had bit parts or like guest starring
God.
roles on her series,
Yes.
and can you just take everyone through?
Yeah, I mean, like I had said, I was waitressing here in New York for a couple of years after I graduated, Tish, and we got my equity card doing like a couple off-Broadway plays, and I had one line, and I understudied the leads, but I never went on, thank God. And then I got this idea, like, I'm going to go to LA for pilot season, whatever. I go to LA for pilot season. I don't book one, but I get that taste of like, oh my God, I'm auditioning. Like, anyway, years of waitressing and assisting, and I was a wedding planner's assistant, and I ran a catering business, and I was a nanny, and I was a babysitter, and I was, what other crap jobs did I have?
I think you've covered it.
Okay, great. So during that time, I'm also auditioning, and Linda Lowy, who casts all of Shonda's shows.
No relation.
Lowe's. No relation to, but she's married to Jeff Perry, who plays Cyrus.
Oh, right.
She's a huge casting director, and she casts all of Shonda's shows. And it's like I just thankfully she made a fan, you know, like she started calling me in when I first moved to LA, and over the years, if there was a role that was right for me on Grey's or Private Practice, or she also cast Friday Night Lights or any of the other shows, she'd always bring me in, and I never got the job. And I would work so hard and still not have any money. And it was, but she kept putting me up there, you know, like, and so Shonda would see me, like I got a big guest star on Private Practice, I got a guest star on Grey's Anatomy. There was a pilot that Shonda was producing called Off the Map, which was like the Grey's Anatomy version of like Doctors Without Borders. And I got close to a bunch of the doctors on that show, didn't book any of them. And
that one was a real heartbreaker for you.
Oh my, because I was close. There were 3 lead female doctors of that show, and I went out for all 3 of them 3 days in a row because they were like, we like her. We don't know which one she's right for. But I always showed up and prepared and ready and like just really did my job, I thought, of pulling off a good audition. And the next season, Scandal was the first pilot I auditioned for, and I got called in, and the role was Quinn, and my middle name was Quinn, and not was, it still is. And I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe 15 auditions in front of this casting office and circling Shonda Rhimes for so many years is finally going to be the one. And I went in and I did it twice. She gave me my note after I did the first scene. It was the pilot audition scene in the bar where I say, I want to be a gladiator in a suit. That was the audition scene. And my note was, can you say it all much faster? And I was like, honey, yes, I'm from New York. Like I could talk real fast. I've been told to talk, see, I'm in a show right now. In Waitress, I talk slow. It's very hard. But talking fast is very comfortable for me. So I did it again. And then a week later, they called me back in, and I thought I was going in to do another like round of callbacks, and they had a videotape rolling, and Shonda just said, you're here. I'm not going to have you test because I'm just going to give you the role. I didn't even read the sides again, nothing. And I just was like sobbing.
This whole moment's on tape, and I have it on my computer, and it's the best.
And it's on the behind the scenes DVD season 1.
Didn't she say something like, Katie, I'm not going to test you?
Yeah.
That sounded like it was about to be a rejection.
If you watch my face, she says like, Katie, I brought you in because I wanted to tell you in person that I'm not bringing you to the studio to test you.
She said, yeah.
And I was like, in my head, I thought she was going to say, but there's this tiny role of like, an assistant's assistant that if the series goes, we'll give you 5 lines, we'll give you a scene, maybe we'll give you a couple scenes. And the next part of her sentence was, because I'm just going to give you the role. She had already taken my first audition tape and sent it off to ABC Studio Network that had already approved me. So I was crying, and I was like, what happens now? And she was like, we're going to shoot a pilot.
It was like that moment on American Idol when they say, you're going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, it was like that for her.
And I was like, we're going to shoot a pilot. And she was like, and then you're going to get a call from costumes. And I was like, I'm going to get a call from costumes.
Katie was crying, and I was shooting an International
Bawling.
House of Pancakes commercial that day.
Nice.
And it's a pretty dope commercial. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
You've done a million commercials.
It was
Yes.
specifically for the apple cinnamon pancake. Not a big deal. It's delicious.
I mean, that's break time.
But she called me, and she kept calling, and I was like shooting this commercial, and I'm like, hello, and she was like, oh, God, scandal, and I was like,
It was called Damage Control
I
then.
just wanted to like throw the pancake at the director and be like, I'm out of here.
I remember getting in the car after, and my hands were like, I couldn't drive. Like, I sat in the car, like, calling my parents and calling Adam and, like, my agents and stuff like that, and telling them I booked the job. Like, they didn't tell me, but my hands, I couldn't drive because my hands were just, like, completely shaking.
And we had no idea how much of a success the show would have been.
Yeah, I was like,
it was just the pilot.
And Quinn turned out to be like,
I mean, I had no clue. When I auditioned, she was just the rookie, like the newbie, the audience. You know, she asked all the questions that the audience needed the answers to. I mean, no idea what I do, what I
Love
did. Or that I
Scandal.
would get OPA. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
love the best.
UPA.
That's right. Scandal. It's so weird. All the Scandal cast are coming through Waitress, which is the other
I know.
huge plus
I saw
of
like
this
pictures
gig.
of Guillermo there.
Guillermo was here Saturday
And there were pictures
afternoon.
of you guys with the cast like strangling them, holding them in
my-
chokehold.
And we sobbed when we saw each other. Sobbed. Carrie came Saturday night. Shonda was here this weekend. Dan Bugutinsky was here Tuesday. Linda and Jeff have been here. I mean, everyone.
So basically, if you'd like to meet the cast of Scandal, buy
Come
your
see
tickets to Waitress on
That's right.
Broadway.
That's right. Yeah. And Carrie's going to be on Broadway, too.
That's right. American
So,
Son.
Yeah. Very excited.
Can't wait. Oh my gosh.
Very
It's
excited.
gonna be like the Scandal season on Broadway. That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
How about we take a couple questions from the audience?
Okay. Audience.
Yes.
Hi.
We know you from the tweets.
We know you from the tweets.
Do your
Your
parents
response.
know you're here?
I told him yesterday.
Nice.
Good.
Okay. did
The
they say
tweet
okay?
said that she got the tickets without telling her parents. I'm glad you got permission.
So, my name's Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
I got to meet you guys on August 10th at Stage Door.
Oh,
Nice.
So good.
I hope we were good in
I
that
wanted to
performance.
know what your favorite scene or song to do with together,
Mm-hmm.
because my favorite is I Love You Like a Table. It's just so funny.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I Love You Like a Table is my favorite part of the show.
It is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because Never Getting Rid of Me is like really hard, and it takes a lot of energy, and it's kind of a hard song, and
Sure.
it's like a
Sure.
it's a beast.
Yeah.
That scene's kind of a beast. But I Love You Like a Table, it's our wedding. It's a really fun song to sing. It's hilarious.
My favorite song is Soft
Although,
Words to Land.
I will say, although I Love You Like a Table was also where my biggest fail
Oh, okay.
of
Let's hear it.
my wife happened. And I don't know if you were at this show, but in that scene, I jump on like a bar stool that's like one of those twisty ones, like a diner stool. And I like get up on it like this, and I'm like,
Okay, please. We have a show tonight. We have a show
I
tonight.
am in love, 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 right? And I'm up on the thing, and then I
have a show
usually
tonight.
make, like kind of a meal out of like jumping off of it, whoop, like that, whoop, 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 like that.
Not a good idea.
And so on this night, which was about 2 weeks ago, I lifted this foot turned with the bar stool, and I ended up on stage on Broadway in the middle of my song like this.
No joke.
And I look up at Katie, and she's like this, and so is the rest of the band. I mean, the band, all the actors, everyone's like, oh my God, is he dead? And I popped up and didn't miss a beat of the song.
Not
and
a beat.
Kept singing, and Katie starts laughing so hard that tears are running down
The
her
entire
hands.
band, the whole rest of the song, nobody played an instrument and nobody sang a harmony
Everybody
because
was just
everyone
like,
was
how is he alive right now after a
couldn't
14-foot
believe it.
basic belly flop onto
And
the
tell
stage?
them what the audience
So yeah,
like.
I go outside and there's like this little autograph line and we're signing the playbills, and this little girl holds her playbill up to me and she's like, is the stage soft where your face hits the stage when you fall off the stool? And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm
And then your
professional."
agent was there that night.
Yeah, my agent was like, you don't have to do that 8 times a week. I mean, that's dangerous. And I was like, trust me, I don't.
Yeah. And then someone else went up to you and was like, you are the best physical comedian I have ever
Because it looked like
seen
you really
in-"
fell.
I
And
mean,
was
he looked like he did like the greatest.
Yeah. It should have looked like I really fell. But I'm a trained actor.
horrifying.
Well, I'm married
were
to
you
a trained
injured?
actor.
No,
Oh yeah, you studied in London for 2 weeks. Isn't
I
that,
studied
isn't that
theater
the
in
quote?
London for 2 weeks. I did. I for 2 weeks. It was very
Intensive,
impactful 2
yeah.
weeks. It was
Yeah.
intensive. I learned everything there is to know about being an actor in those 2 weeks.
Were you bruised? Were you battered and injured after that? Did you have to take any
I
time
was
off?
fine. As soon as I walked off stage, there was like 4 stage managers there, like waiting to put me into a ambulance and like put my understudy on for the rest of the show. And I was like, guys, this is like miraculous. I'm fine.
Miraculous.
But then when we went to bed that night, we got in bed. I was like, Katie, my whole body hurts, and she's like, yeah. You belly flopped onto a wooden stage.
Katie, do you have any stage?
Does that answer your question?
Goof?
What's crazy about Broadway, now that I know, guys, sorry.
Is that you mess up every day?
No. Yes. What's crazy
Like
about Broadway?
the show,
No, like
something
literally-
goes wrong.
Oh, I thought
What's
you were
crazy-
talking about Katie's.
No, I do. I also.
We both.
Well,
I mess up every day.
yeah, I probably do every day. But
Yesterday, I took a creamer and just spilled it all over the stage.
Meaning, like, you go to see a Broadway show and you think it's always like right. You know, everything's going.
You
It
assume,
should.
yeah.
I've seen a million Broadway shows. Well, no, they're never. I don't think we've in the 100 and something we've done. I don't
Had,
think
like, a
there's ever
perfect
been one
performance.
that's perfect. Something always goes wrong. Something flops on the floor. Someone forgets this little prop. Someone's a little bit late on an entrance. Someone's a little bit early on an
And
entrance. Someone mix up an order of a word or two in a line. Like,
And the professionalism of Broadway isn't that they don't make mistakes.
Right.
It's how they handle them when they
Yes.
happen, and the audience never sees them. And that's what we
Yes.
learned when we showed up to Broadway. We're like, oh, wow. The game is not being perfect. It's like knowing that things aren't always going to go right, and you got to just keep cruising through.
That's
And it's
exactly
been-
why I keep going to the shows over and over and
really
over,
fun to
because
watch.
now I can see those things, and sometimes I'm so crazy that sometimes I'll even go to the same show 2 nights in a row.
And you see the differences.
I've seen a
Amazing.
show twice in the same day for this reason,
That's
because
phenomenal.
I like to watch the little.
wow.
Well, it is
now
funny-
you know, like it's just never.
Because when you're in an audience, you're just seeing it the one time and you're just assuming that's the way it goes. But one of the cool things about being in a show is we've now gotten to see Waitress 100 times.
Oh, lucky.
And you see every performance is different, and it's live theater, and it's the best. It's what makes it the best.
Let's take a couple more questions.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you
questions.
for your question, Amanda.
Hi,
What's up?
my name is Desiree.
Hi, Desiree.
So I feel like you already answered the question I was about to ask.
That's okay.
I know that when you're on a film, if
Yeah.
you mess up a line,
Yep.
you can cut it and redo
Yeah.
it again. But if you're in a live performance and that happens or you forget a line,
Yeah.
how do you revive that scene, or how do you
Oof.
just
It's a-
go through with it without
Well, that's
making
what's
the
really
audience
terrifying
feel
about
that way?
Yeah, it's terrifying about live theater, that's for sure. Because I'm so used to, 7 years on Scandal, I'd be like, saying a line, and then I'd be like, oh, go back, I messed it up, go back, everybody go back, sorry. And I do that
You
all
say that? You say that like that on
All
Scandal?
do it.
Wow. I've never done that.
we all do it all day. But also because we're learning 80 pages a week, and some of them you're getting day of, so whatever. I mean, sometimes it's hard. But here you can't do that. But we've definitely messed up. I messed up a line this week, and so did you, badly.
Yesterday. I have this one line yesterday where I say, well, technically 40 times technically I was the standby
Right.
revere, but 2 times that Paul was out and I went on and I played it, right?
I played it.
And I played it. And so yesterday I'm talking to Katie on stage. I said, actually 40 times he went on. And I realized, oh no, I'm supposed to say I was the understudy for him. And then I tried to explain it and
Basically,
it
you
just,
try to improv,
and I tried to improv
sometimes
my
it's
way
the
out of it.
best. Sometimes it's a gem and it's better than what you've ever done that you can never repeat, and sometimes it's just a fiery blaze of glory.
Basically, I just kept digging deeper and deeper of a hole yesterday.
Mine
40
was-
times technically he went on. There is a man who goes on normally.
what happened.
And
And I was
I
like-
2 times went on
Oh, no, I
for
was
him.
like this, uh-huh.
And Katie was like,
I'm so into this. I'm so into this.
it was really fun. You were
When
cracking me up.
When I go, shh, and I go, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea.
Yeah, what did you
That was the Nicolette's opening night. I was
That's the
there.
one time
What did
I
you
knew
say?
that. I said 2 if by
Land.
You said
Land.
1 if by sea, 2 if by land.
Ay,
and I really
vey.
thought you were going to say, and there across the shore I stand.
I was going to try
Which
to
would-
rhyme it, but I always play by a rule of never calling out somebody else's
Yeah.
mistake and then moving on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because I don't know what her intention is in the moment, if she wants to play it off or draw attention to the fact that she just messed up the line. So I just kept moving.
Yeah, but like, so that happened. And I had never done that before, and I'll never do it again.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a totally random, when you start doing a show.
Nobody else would have noticed that, by the way.
No, oh, please. If they did, I mean, that's what's, it's like, oh my God, Broadway's crazy.
It's hilarious.
Like, you just, it's part of it. It's just a whole part of it. The other crazy
But
thing
I
we've
kind of
learned
love
about,
the fact that, unlike in a film and a TV show, that you can't just stop. I mean, I kind of love that that's not one of the rules. You got to keep going.
Gotta keep
I
going.
think it kind of, I think it helps the performance that you don't have a safety net and that you're not necessarily worried about messing up, because if you do, then you got to keep moving on anyway. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's the best part. I mean, that's why I think as an actor, we love theater so much, which is it's our medium. We
either were the ones telling the story, beginning, middle to end.
not
no
the
one else
editor,
can
not
change
the
it.
director,
The other huge Broadway lesson is just like we had to learn after about week 6 that like it's about pace. Like when we came in, guns blazing, like did the first 6 weeks and we did every performance at 100%. And then we realized, why are we getting sick and like nobody else is, and we're losing our voice and nobody else is? And it's
and they're like, you're singing
Broadway's
really
this
loud.
huge lesson in like you can pick your moments where you might sing at 50%, but you're acting at 100%. And then you pick the moments where you're blasting a song at 100%, but you're pulling back in other ways, because you have to do this 8 times a week. And I'm telling you, you can't do 8 times a week at 100%. You cannot.
You really are like professional athletes.
Yeah, I was going to say
not.
it's a lot like sports. It's like, every basketball player knows that, like, you got to make it to the 4th quarter. And then when you're doing a playoff series, you got to make it to game 7. I mean, you
Right.
can't just expend all of your energy in
Right.
the first 2 performances when we have to do this 150 times over
So
the
it's
next
been
3
a
months.
huge lesson in like
Yeah.
learning pace and learning like what are the Dawn moment. Like when no one's looking at Dawn and it's not about her story, it's about someone else's story. Like I don't like just reserve.
You can, like,
reserve,
relax your
you know,
body.
relax a minute, and
Yeah.
then like so it was just been a really big lesson in how to sustain energy and health and passion and showing up every day and telling the same story, but making sure you're doing it like.
I'm just amazed at how professional all the actors are on Broadway. Like, they could just like be on their phone and like looking at a text and then like be like, oh, it's my turn, and then they put the phone down and then they run on stage and they're just like perfect.
Well,
and
and
they're
some people,
singing and
we're
they're-
so at it, we're just new to it, but there are Natasha Yvette Williams, who plays Becky, who I share my dressing room with.
been on
Like
Broadway.
I showed up, this is her like 50 millionth Broadway show, and I showed up and I'm like, okay, here's my vocal warm-ups, and then I have a heating pad for my voice and all these things. And I was like, what do you do to warm up? And she was like, I have a Pepsi. And I was like, oh.
She just has a Pepsi.
I was like, oh my God, I am screwed.
By the way, that does not work for me. The Pepsi warm-up, I tried it. Doesn't work. I sounded
could
like
seriously
terrible.
sit here and talk to you guys for hours. We're going to take one more question
Yes.
from the
Yeah,
audience.
question from the audience.
And then I've got one more for
Okay.
Hi. I was wondering if you guys were to ever be in a musical and play like the central couple in that musical, which one would you pick?
I know what I would pick.
I know one just popped into my head for you guys.
What would you do?
I want to hear yours first.
I would want to be guy and girl in once.
Oh, wow. That would be beautiful.
Oh God, I would be horrible.
Yeah,
at that.
Katie's like, I'm not going to do that. But
What
that's
did you
what I would
think
want
of,
to do.
Katie?
I would want to be Sally Bowles and you.
What, the MC?
The MC,
the MC in Cabaret.
Right?
Yeah.
Good one.
I immediately went to Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah, that would be great. We would kill
that
that.
would be really fun.
You would be
do
an
that.
amazing
Or what
Seymour,
about-
and you'd be a perfect Audrey.
I think so.
What about J. Pierpont and Rosemary from How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying?
I think we should do a weekly web series where you do.
I want to know
love
what
songs.
you think.
Yeah. Do you have
Because
a?
I'm terrible at casting myself.
I mean, I'm a really big fan of Merrily We Roll Along, but that doesn't really have a central
Yeah.
couple.
I mean,
I love that.
digging
That's
deep
hard
into the
now.
Sondheim.
That's hard. I was like, I think that's really hard.
So I want to just before we wrap up, I want to talk about I Am a Theater Company.
Oh, thank you.
This is a labor of love. It's,
Yes.
it's your first baby in a way.
Yes.
Over 10 years old.
Yes.
Talk to me about the LA theater scene and your involvement in it.
Well, when I moved to LA, as I was saying before, I moved to LA and I was waitressing in a restaurant with all my other friends who also went to Tisch School of the Arts, and we were all waitressing at the same place, and we were like, what the hell are we doing with our lives? Our artistic souls are dying. And so we didn't know how to make movies. We didn't learn that in school. We learned how to make like really cheap, crappy theater. So we were like, let's just do that in LA. And that was 10 years ago, and now we do not make crappy theater. We make great theater. And we do original new plays. We work very closely with new playwrights. Shonda Rhimes is a patron of our, is the patron of the arts for our theater company. She's a huge supporter. And Adam, we are both actors in it and founding members. I'm one of the co-artistic directors. Adam is the head of marketing and does our website.
And don't worry, and that's social media.
And he runs our social media.
Well, when Katie and her friends decided they wanted to put up a play, which ended up turning into this company, I had just started dating Katie, and she was like, "Yeah, me and my girlfriends are gonna put up a play," and I was like, "Oh, I'll make a website for you guys because you use what you got." You know what I mean?
Also, I was like,
"You
he can't be in the.
I know HTML.
I told all my girlfriends he can't be in the theater company because like I don't know if this is gonna last. And they were like, he has to be in the theater company. Now, yes. So we like to model ourselves after like a Steppenwolf or like a what?
Okay.
What?
No, that's cool. I didn't know that story.
Didn't
no,
know
I'm kidding,
that
I'm
story.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
Also, by the way,
What?
Everyone in the theater company all dated each other, and none of them are together anymore. But we are.
Yes. We're like that couple on Bachelor in Paradise that like actually got married and had a kid.
Yeah.
We're Carly and Evan.
No, the first ones.
The first Bachelorette.
Yeah, who was that?
Krista.
Krista and Ryan.
Yeah.
We're
firefighters.
We're the
Ryan.
Krista and Ryan of the LA theater
Yeah,
scene.
I can't believe we didn't get to talk about reality shows at all.
Well, we have to come back and do a whole reality segment. We love reality TV.
Oh
We
my
love
god.
The
IAMA Theater
Bachelor.
Company. It's our passion project. It's our artistic outlet.
Some of our plays have come here to New York, Bachelorette
Some of them have been
assistants,
turned into
and
movies and pilots and
do like the kids do came to
Well,
New
look,
York.
the
and-
LA is known for film and
Yes.
television, but there is theater there, and I'm really excited that
Thank
you
you.
guys are
If
doing.
you're ever in LA and you would like to come see a play, please let us
I think
know.
it's actually not
Definitely
only is there
will.
theater in LA, but Mayor Garcetti said it was the most live theater performances nightly per capita in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Los
a
Angeles?
lot of
Sweet.
theater in LA.
So go no matter where you are, New York, Los Angeles, or anywhere in between, go see a play.
Yes,
yeah,
it's a
okay,
Let-
yeah.
Can you just do a couple of, like one Ogie yes for me?
Yes.
I can't. It's like my favorite moment of the
Insane.
whole show.
It's insane.
Whenever
Yes.
I think of you, I think yes.
And she's so turned on by it.
That's your Dawn
my-
turned
that's
on
my
face.
thing, like,
Well, I would like to say Katie Lowe's and Adam Shapiro now appearing 8 times a week on Broadway
With
in
this
Waitress
lovely,
with the
this
beautiful
lovely-
Nicolette
lovely
Robinson.
Lovely woman.
Yes.
I have one word about that, and that is yes.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
So much for having us. Thank you, guys.